The Chinese government today announced sanctions against 11 notable Americans. A spokesman for the Chinese foreign minister says, quote, in response to the wrongdoing of the United States, the Chinese side has decided to impose sanctions on those who perform badly on Hong Kong issues, including U.S. Senators Marco Rubio, Ted Cruz, Josh Hawley, Tom Cotton, and Pat Toomey. Republican Congressman Chris Smith was also named on the list. He chaired a hearing last month demanding that the Chinese president disclose the whereabouts of a Catholic bishop missing in China. China's actions today come after the United States imposed sanctions of its own on a Hong Kong leader and 10 others for their crackdown on political freedom. Well, police in Hong Kong have arrested a media tycoon and pre-democratic advocate. Jimmy Lai, who's reportedly a practicing Catholic, is facing charges under a new national security law. He's accused of, quote, collusion with foreign powers. The 71-year-old regularly criticized China's authoritarian rule. Joining us now is Edward Pentin, Rome correspondent for EWTN's National Catholic Register. He has been following the story from the very beginning. Ed, thank you so much for joining us.
Sure, good to be with you.
What's the latest on the arrest of Jimmy Lai?
Well, we haven't heard anything really since he was arrested this morning, but we believe he's been one of at least 10 activists who've have been arrested by the authorities in Hong Kong because of what they say is collusion with foreign powers. And this is part of this new national security law that came into force at the end of June. And they've used that law to arrest these activists who've really been campaigning for democracy in Hong Kong and against this hard, what they say is hard-headed and heavy-handed actions from the Chinese authorities through the Hong Kong government.
As we know, Lai is a practicing Catholic. Has there been any response from the Vatican or any church officials there in Hong Kong?
Not that we know of yet, Eric, no, but usually the Vatican and the Church tends to keep silent, certainly initially, on these sort of individual cases. But the Diocese of Hong Kong is being quite acquiescent, in fact, about this national security law. They've rather gone along with it, along with the Hong Kong government and the Chinese authorities. And the Vatican, of course, has been silent on Hong Kong for a long time now, really because of this provisional agreement, this secret provisional agreement that it has signed with China, and which comes up for renewal in September, and so they're very careful not to be rocking the boat before that renewal comes up in September.
As we know, the political unrest continues over there. Does this arrest have a wider significance on the pro-democracy movement there in Hong Kong?
Well, it does, and it does. People say it signals the death knell for freedom of speech in Hong Kong, and so it is quite a significant development. Of course, it's anyone's guess how this will develop in the future, but certainly it's a bad omen. It's being seen as very much a bad omen for the future and for freedoms in Hong Kong, and it goes against the Hong Kong agreement that the Hong Kong government signed with China when it was handed back to Chinese authorities in 1997, which was to be two systems, one country, and this seems to be very much the sort of contravention of that, and so this is been very much manifested by this national security law and the developments today.
And Ed, we heard earlier about officials in Italy having approved the use of the abortion pill on the outpatient basis. Has there been any response from church officials about this?
I haven't seen any yet, but certainly they're not going to be happy with this. This is a big blow to the pro-life movement and to the church in Italy now that the abortion pill can be used not only in hospitals but now on an outpatient basis. And in the past, having it administered in hospitals was seen as a way to minimize or lessen the use of this pill. So certainly it'll be seen as a big setback in terms of the pro-life movement and, of course, in life in general and the protection of the unborn.
Definitely is a setback. Thank you so much, Ed. Edward Pentin, Rome correspondent for EWTN's National Catholic Register.
Thank you, Eric.